people repeat history.
There's no love in this place, so this is my only solution.
Welcome. I am your host, Michael, and this is Solution,
There's no love in this place.
a platform where we discuss ideas and finding solutions to the issues we face as a people. Statistically, our situation has not improved much over the past couple of 100 years. I intend to fix that. We like to believe history repeats itself, when in actuality, it is people who repeat history. Let's stop doing that.
Go get your mind back.
Live. Greetings. Yes, this is the first edition of Solutions. I don't know. I'm new to this multimedia thing, but I believe I have some information that's worth sharing. I have a wealth of information, and I think, ironically enough, today was this January 5th or whatever, the 6th, with all the mess that's going on, I think it's even more appropriate. All right, so as the name of the show, Solution. And as I said in the intro, I believe that we can fix our situation, and I also believe that I can present some tools. Being as this is my first show and it's all about solution and finding solutions, I am going to be dealing with the topic of tonight: crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency. So I have been involved in Bitcoin since it was $1. I've been paying attention to it till it get to $300 when I got involved in it. And I've been studying, researching, doing all the ins and outs of the different aspect of Bitcoin and the technology overall. So tonight, I am going to just give some information on what Bitcoin is, and just a glossary and overall on how it can be utilized to help us today. Bitcoin is going to be in the mainstream in the very near future. This year, all of the banks and whoever institution, they are adapting Bitcoin. So I'm just going to take a little time and kind of just explain in layman terms what Bitcoin is. You have a lot of experts out there who will claim to be expert on Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies or blockchain. I'm not saying that they're not, legitimate expert, but for the most part, it's a new technology. And what I find, most people tend to focus on one aspect or another. You have, for the most part, people who view Bitcoin as some form of money, so they treat it as such in the terms of conventional money. And you have some people who see the technology aspect of Bitcoin and treat it as such. So I'm going to do my best to break down my understanding of Bitcoin. I'm gonna go into a little bit of history, so pardon the monologue. I'm gonna go in, because to kind of get context, I have to give you history and all of that. So, I'm gonna go into like technology because Bitcoin is a technology, and if I can break it down and make comparisons with um, current technology and current financial system, I hope it will make sense. So to start off, I'm gonna go a little bit back into the computer era of the internet and all of that. Um, so the internet came about, came online in the 90s. America came online in the 90s. And then you have AOL mailing service, and people could speak on instantly communicate with people all over the planet. At that time, there were a lot of mainstream news media personnel who were ridiculing the technology and like, oh, we're not going to get rid of the post office. People are not going to be sending mail. We're not going to, and look at where we are today. Now, the comparison with Bitcoin is that because it has a monetary, like the creators of Bitcoin created a monetized aspect of it first. And they also did it open source. So the the programs and coders who get involved in this can incentivize their work and figure out a way to use the technology to pay themselves. And they realize they need a lot of computing power. So people put technology machines together and started mining and generating a lot of it consume a lot of energy to create Bitcoin. But on the technology side, with in comparison to the internet, there was a way they monetize the current internet how we know it by with Facebook and Google and all of these things. But what they did, that they kind of monopolize it, where Google and Facebook is pretty much in control. Along with that, the monetary system was also being utilized at our disadvantage. So with Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin. Some people say Bitcoin is digital gold. Now, it has the characteristics of gold if you want to be an investor with Bitcoin, because like gold, Bitcoin, there's only going to be 21 million of Bitcoin ever. So like gold, it has a limited amount. So with that aspect, it's kind of like the supply and demand and demand aspect of it. And that's where the similarities with Bitcoin and gold end. It's just electronic store of value. And in honesty, most people who own gold never see an ounce of gold like physically. They never see that. I mean, I can get into the artificial inflation of the amount of gold, but that's not this what this particular show is about. This is really to introduce myself and um, kind of go over what we're going to be getting into in the discussion aspect of things, because this is going to be this program is geared to finding problems to the issues we face, so and come up with practical solutions. And I believe a lot of our solutions lie in cryptocurrency. Like if you had $1 in Bitcoin, earlier this time last year, that dollar would have been like $80. So, and a lot of people also can talk about the volatility. Now, it is volatile, but it's also artificially manipulated. But that also I am going to get into in the future of how there is mechanism to prevent one sector to dominate or manipulate or monopolize the technology. So um, so that's Bitcoin. And then we're going to talk about blockchain, the technology of blockchain, and how it is monetized in the cryptocurrency. Now, when it comes to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, there is a difference. There is Bitcoin and there is Ethereum. Those are the only two cryptocurrencies or technology, but for understanding, we're going to use cryptocurrencies for now. So Bitcoin is the first of the technology. And if anybody who's interested in Bitcoin, first and foremost, should read the Bitcoin white papers. It's on bitcoin.org. And you can get an understanding of where the creator, the inventor of Bitcoin was going, what they're trying to accomplish. It is not just money. Some say Bitcoin is the ultimate or the first AI. It is the first artificial intelligence, which I am a believer in that also because it has characteristic of self-sustaining ability. Like you can't. It's at a point right now that it's near to impossible to shut Bitcoin down or take it offline. You pretty much would have to shoot down a whole bunch of satellite and cut off all the computers, and a whole bunch of resources would go into taking Bitcoin offline. So, all right. So, like I said, I am new to this, so people are gonna have to excuse the how this flows. I'm not really doing this for, I'm doing this for the solution base, the possibilities that we have here with this technology. So, preparing my show today, there has been development and ideas and just things that came to the forefront. So, gonna be all right. So, in the understanding or the explanation of Bitcoin, we're gonna talk about banking for a little bit. Now, the regular banking system, anybody over 30 will remember there was a time when you slide your credit card on a magnetic thing and it does the imprint of your credit card, and then it, you know, whatever transaction was done through the mail, and then they put it on a magnetic strip, and now you have a little uh, RFID chip on your debit or credit card. But the technology that is running that system has been around since God knows how long. And we are advancing to a world of of 5, 6, 7, whatever G's they're going at. We're advancing. So there's a switch over to a different type of technology. And unlike before, when a new technology come around, big conglomerate always capture the technology and use their financial resources to push the inventor out, or the company who started it out and changed the whole intent of what they were trying to do. Bitcoin is a whole different beast, and the creators or inventors who did this had all of this in mind. So no one entity, no one government, nobody can manipulate and control Bitcoin. If they try it, it's gonna be to their own detriment. And I'll use one case. For example, China tried to corner the market by being the leader in mining Bitcoin, and the algorithm reset to where Venezuela was the best place to mine Bitcoin, and made a lot of Venezuelans millionaires as a result. So that was just one aspect of how it worked. Now, if anybody are interested in a future, or doing, having a better handle on their financial structure, whenever a new technology come around, people should always observe the trend. There's always like a yin and a yang, like a Facebook and a Twitter. They always operate like that. Bitcoin, Ethereum. It is, but what most when these technology come around and the big companies try to push the the smaller people out, programmers, coders, and you call them what would they would call them, not rebel, but they're part of an hacking community who believe in freedom of information, uh, more power to the people kind of situation. So this is technically a financial revolution with an AI technology. Now, um, so that's a gloss over Bitcoin, and I mean, we got an hour. I've been 15 minutes. Damn, time really fly. So blockchain is now a byproduct, or the technology is done on a blockchain. And another Bitcoin, when Bitcoin came about, it was purely financial. So everything that is done on Bitcoin is financial first. But as a byproduct, there are opportunities for people to do all kind of things. For example, because Bitcoin utilize so much energy, and it is slow. The transaction rate is kind of slow right now in terms of trying to utilize or using credit card to have the same um, fast speed as credit cards we're using right now. There is a technology that is built on a layer of the Bitcoin uh, code. And this technology is called the Bitcoin Lightning. It's called a Lightning Network. And basically, what it is, it's a network of computers linked to a satellite dish that is pointing at the Bitcoin satellite, that can now make a worldwide network that can operate independently of the Bitcoin mining. And it can operate if the system is down on or up. It will remember whatever, and you won't miss whatever, but the transactions still go on. Point is, as a result of having the Lightning Network, where you can link, you can buy. Actually, I have some dish and stuff that I use. I have the network, the Lightning Network that I'm setting up, but that I set up. But we get into that later. What I'm trying to get to is there's a byproduct of having utilizing the Lightning Network, and the byproduct is because it is a satellite dish you're pointing to utilize the Bitcoin satellite. You have to use a dish, and you have to use a scrambler, and you have to use a modem to transfer the signal to data, which gives you the ability to have your own communication network. You can do internet service if it's only for your home, or you have the option of going to businesses and say, hey, if you let me set up a satellite dish, which probably is there already because you can utilize any satellite dish, let me set up this dish, and you get free internet, and for you get the ability to run the Lightning Network, and you can have a network where you can do transaction worldwide for a minuscule fee, or you can have a communication network, cell phones or whatever, internet, or you can even have data storage worldwide, which is, on the most secure blockchain ever. So that's just one aspect or side you know byproduct of utilizing the Bitcoin network. Now, there's also strategies from getting involved in tokens. People used to play Candy Crush. There is games that you play, you get tokens, and at some point you can use the tokens and monetize it. There might be a little bit of work into doing that, but there are ways to utilize tokens and get them out as cash, and everything is can be on a handheld device that you can transfer to a what you call that, cash app card, or even to your bank account. So um so that's just talking about Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, as I mentioned, is straight up cash. And I mentioned a few of the byproducts from utilizing the technology. Now, because Bitcoin is straight up monetized system, it's set up for, if you're not utilizing any of the technology, it's not really beneficial. In other words, if you're not buying and holding Bitcoin or setting up a Lightning network, Bitcoin is not really, it's not, has no real, you really wouldn't have any interest in it if you can't buy and hold, or, so a Canadian liked the technology, read the white paper, and realized that there's an opportunity to do something from the Bitcoin technology. And he created what is called Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, again, people confuse it and says it's a cryptocurrency, or it is not. It is another form of technology that is a byproduct of Bitcoin that also is monetized. Now, so Bitcoin is the financial thing. And in the internet world, or in the internet comparison, if you compare it to in the the internet, so Bitcoin would be the internet, and Ethereum would be like the internet going from the HTTP to apps, where everything is an app. When that's what happened in 2010. So basically, the system got big or overwhelmed or whatever, and it become cumbersome. So some developer decided to create application that you can just now, instead of coding a website, you just get a little box and cut and paste, and you got an app, and and it makes it easier for people to utilize all of that. Now, a lot of people didn't. I remember back in those days when there was a lot of people who were IT, and they're learning. I was one of them, learning to fix computers and all of that, and then that ended abruptly because application came in, Google came around, and a lot of people didn't understand that. And then there was MySpace and Facebook. There's always a yin and a yang, like I said. So the application, um, Ethereum, was developed as a block on the Bitcoin blockchain, and it split. They call it a fork. It's split in because the two technology was competing, so it split and went one way and become useful or usable, where that application, people can now build functionality on the blockchain of, which is Ethereum. So, like for example, there are lots of multinational companies involved in the Ethereum, on the Ethereum network. You can look at that too. You can go to ethereum.org, and what Ethereum help with is a thing called smart contracts. So a smart contract basically is what it says. A smart contract. You want a contract to, you want to do something where there's guarantee. So because through the advent of smart contracts, a lot of companies get involved in the Ethereum projects, and now you have like power companies that have their smart meters linked to the grid, where, excuse, through smart contracts linked to the technology, you can manipulate and control the flow of energy, and you can negotiate peak hours and all of that kind of stuff. Now, that's some of the things that happen or work on the Ethereum platform. Now, as a layperson, all one have to do is to look at the byproducts of Ethereum. Now, most of the cryptocurrencies that are out there are built on the Ethereum platform. And like anything else that involves finance, you're going to have people who are going to be about capitalizing on the illiteracy or uninformed, not illiteracy, but the uninformed. And with this technology, it's no different. Back in the first bull run from the 2014 to 2017, the Bitcoin run, where it went from $300 to $20,000 in 2017, there were a lot of .ios that went online, or ICOs, that initial coin offering. These are companies that say they're going to do all kind of things and buying to my token, and a lot of money was made. And now there's going to be another bull run, which is because of the adoption, the mainstream adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And a lot of people are going to be consumers. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And we as a people always end up being consumers. When I started researching Bitcoin, I was just messing around. I'm a curious person. I watch, if I watch a TV show and I see a code, just the camera just pan on a code or a computer code. I enter the code into my computer. Sometimes I'm amazed by some of the shit that I realize. But that's how I found out about Bitcoin. And then I was watching, I do surf international news, and I saw other people talking about it, but there was nobody talking about it locally, and it got me more curious. And then I watched where it was $1, and then it's now $300. And at the time, they were making fun of a guy who paid for his pizza with Bitcoin. There was also a time where the federal government, because of the illegal stuff that was going on in Silk Road, and people was buying stuff with Bitcoin and accumulating a lot of Bitcoin, the federal government seized their Bitcoin and auction it off. Like, just auction off people. Like, there's some crazy, crazy. So I realized that there are a lot of people, influential people, who are getting involved in Bitcoin privately and talking out of the other side of their face publicly. And when I am doing my research, and I will look on the Ethereum platform, and I will see a company like, for example, there's a company out in Australia. So they try to work out the technology in Texas, and they wanted to build a solar power grid to see how they can utilize the technology and manage power. And there was a company that the country of Australia gave them the go ahead to say, build you mega plant and do whatever. And when you look at the subsidiary of the company, you saw that it was owned by a company like Tesla. But at the time when people was asking the owner of Tesla about cryptocurrency, you know, I don't know what, no, didn't really want to speak on it. But yet you have a company investing heavily in a project that is solely run on a blockchain, smart contract, and cryptocurrency. So what I'm saying is that because I didn't see enough of our people that look like you and I, involved in it, so I decided that I am going to go as far as I can go and learn as much as I can with the limitation that I have on Bitcoin. And, you know, they say an expert is somebody who do the same shit a lot of times and fail. So I'm not saying I'm expert, but I'm an expert in the understanding of how people understand what an expert is. And I believe that with the technology of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain, a little bit of money, and some patience, we can do a lot of things. So, okay. I am gonna go back to my notes, and this will be so banking, we covered that. So Bitcoin, I said earlier, Bitcoin is the AI. Now,
Before you get into that, because while you're checking your notes, You have a couple of comments here. Shelly Speaks Truth says, this is very interesting. I bought Bitcoin about 5 years ago and spent the most of it. Devar said, mad respect, family. Strength and health.
Yeah.
The symbols for the thumb up. And Real Deal Radio says, wow, this is very interesting. And me personally, I'm very interested in what you were talking about the lightning technology, because it seems like to be what you were saying is kind of like people can kind of cut out the cable systems
Yeah.
type of thing. So
Yes.
if you could elaborate that on that for me, I would love it.
All right. All right. So yeah. So I was asked to elaborate on the lightning technology. Now, so Bitcoin is created to basically be the platform where the old technology is going to transition to. You hear people talk about the Internet of Things. So Bitcoin is going to be the Internet of Things. But what happened is, to mine a Bitcoin requires a lot of power. I'm just gonna, give me 1 second. I'm gonna show y'all something.
While he's doing that, don't forget to check out Urban Country Mornings. That's 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here. Urban Country Mornings.
All right, so this is what a Bitcoin miner looks like. This is a Avalon miner. Now, at one point, I could have used that and mine Bitcoin. But because it requires so much power, my electric bill, it does the calculation for you, and it will tell you with the miner how much power you're gonna burn and how much Bitcoin you're gonna generate at the current power costs and all of that. So Bitcoin requires a lot of power to mine one Bitcoin. And also because Bitcoin is to be replacing the current payment system, in order for it to compete with the current payment system, it has to be lightning fast. And because of the computing power and the high power of electricity required to mine one Bitcoin, the programmers create a system, a software that, or technology that operate on Bitcoin. It's kind of like, anybody who knows about computer, when anything with an internal clock, where you can unplug your computer, but when you plug it back in, it still keep the time. So picture the Lightning Network is basically a network that operates on the Bitcoin network, whether it is down or not. So for micro transaction, say I have one Bitcoin and I want to send 0.5% of Bitcoin. The system already knows that I have one Bitcoin. So if you have a mobile device, it will divvy out however many Bitcoin without having to mine it. And then when my system comes back on, it just say you did this because you have it, and it won't. And the system won't allow you to do anything with your Bitcoin until that transaction is completed. But with the Lightning Network, in order for this to happen, they set up the technology to work more mobile, because as I mentioned, the system in America didn't really care too much about it. So they make it for rural India, places that are already cashless. India is cashless, China is cashless, rural Africa. So in order to do that, they had to put up a satellite or a few satellites so that it can be up all the time and you can't really take it down. Now, because it has a satellite that you can beam from, it is technology. So it's communication. So because it's already communication streaming from the satellite back to Earth, that beam you can convert it. All you need is and they actually sell you the devices. Here's the device, some of the devices that you get, and this. So this device here is really the one that does the split of the signal. So when you connect it to your modem, all you have to do is get a router, and the modem will bring the internet power to your computer that you're running the Bitcoin Lightning on. And if you want to utilize the signal as a internet signal, you can get a router, and depending on where you're at, you can put another antenna on your house or put a double LNB so it's receiving and sending signal at the same time. So you can actually download the signal and send it back out and have another device. It's no different from like where you see Comcast or any one of them just have a device within a certain distance to have a network, and you can have your own network. Now, to set up like a Bitcoin Lightning, it don't cost more than about $200. It's not expensive. And the great thing about it, because one of the questions they were asking about the Bitcoin Lightning was, so if it is that easy, why can't the big banks get in there and just control all the data? And the programmer who was having the discussion was saying that the protocol is set up where you can't, if you spend $1 million to try to, it still won't, it will be as, it's set up to be fair. Excuse me.
There's like a fail safe there. Is it kind of like what you're saying?
Yeah. There's a fail safe to prevent manipulation, because they already figure out that people are greedy. Now, to give a little more history again on how this came about. Now, when I lived in New York, there was this computer hacking program on WBAI, the only FM station in the middle of wherever, free. Anyway, so on that program, I found out that when the internet was first authorized to be civilian use, a bunch of guys, two of them decided that one's gonna poke a window into the system, and another is gonna take a bite out of the system. And they call the window, which was a virus, they call it Windows. And every time the system is trying to correct itself, they write a new program and sell it to you and call it Windows XP. And the other guy says, he took a bite and he called it Apple. Rotten apple, that's why I got a bite in it. But anyway, and every time the system try to fix itself. So these programmers, they figure that out, and they've been working to try to counteract that. Now, the first try they did was back when Napster and all of that, the music file sharing thing come online, and they had BitTorrent and all of these things. And then they're like, well, if we catch you pirating music or anything, we're gonna lock your ass up. So they're like, okay. So And this is just an advance. That's why it is called Bitcoin. It was BitTorrent. You could get like, you know, Adobe. You could get a lot of software codes in that thing. So what they did was they figure out that, okay, so these guys, every step we make, they trying to criminalize people getting stuff, making stuff easier for themselves. So they're like, all right, so here's what we're going to do. And we're going to create a software, create a program, but we're going to monetize it first. So we're going to make a whole bunch of people a whole lot of money first, so that it will incentivize them to do more with the technology. And then not only that, it's going to be completely open source. So, and then if you want to adapt the technology, it will be beneficial for you. And the more people adapt it, the more big institutions have to come on board, because it's going to eat them up. Because once they did their research and their study and an analysis and realized that, all right, so the demonizing Bitcoin and cryptocurrency didn't work, and we can't ban it, because if we ban it, then we have to go into every person's home to see what they're looking at on your computer, because if you can easily use a virtual VPN and then that take care of that. So they realized that, and then they realized also that a whole bunch of new multi-millionaire came online in 2017. So now they got a whole bunch of millionaires, and they realize that Bitcoin is technically, it's here to stay, but we can't do anything about it. So we have to badmouth it. And what better persons to use than the people who are on Wall Street and bankers, all of these people. So they did a good job of doing that in America. Now, they're now realizing that this thing isn't going anywhere. And they also realize that they have to adapt, or else they're going to get left behind. That's why you see now Citibank and all of these banks are telling their client that now you can invest, and PayPal is accepting, and all of that. They're slowly doing the mainstream adoption. What's going to arise from this, because a lot of people don't know, there's going to be a lot of get your Bitcoin here, store your Bitcoin there, buy your Bitcoin here, and all of that kind of stuff. And I am here to educate people and let people know, if you didn't take this step and that step and that step to acquire your Bitcoin, it is not yours. You know what I'm saying? It is just like giving somebody your money and telling them, okay, yeah, I am buying this for you, and when you're ready for it, I will have it ready, but you never see it. And that is kind of the system we're on right now. You know what I'm saying? If you invest your money, you give somebody your money, you'll never see, you buy gold, you never see the gold. You just saw on a computer screen that you have some gold. And if you hear a hack, you can't, like, anybody out there now, if you got $10,000 in the bank and you hear a bank got hacked, the first thing you're gonna do is run to look at your account to make sure your account wasn't a victim.
I gotta be honest with you. That's exactly what scared me away from Bitcoin, is the fact that, because I always thought about it like, you're gonna take your real money and trade it in for something that you can't see, you can't touch, you can't feel. You know, so that was my mindset behind it. Of course, now in hindsight, you know, hindsight is 2020.
Yep.
But another question for you though.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot about Bitcoin possibly reaching 100,000, and then I'm also hearing within the same breath that it will burst. So it's kind of like, don't hold on to the bag, because just like any other big boom, it will, like a balloon has to
Yeah,
bust.
it's a bubble.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
here's the thing, like only 21 million Bitcoin is going to ever be minted. And again, it is a technology. It is the Internet of Things. It is what all right. So, anybody over 40 have some idea of what analog was. We got off of analog and we went digital.
Right.
We're at digital. We're at the life end now. A little background. Right now I'm a communication technician. I do the infrastructure, all of the hot fiber optics cable out there. So I'm also setting up the infrastructure for 5G or whatever they want to call it, technology. But basically, we're doing the upgrade. And the upgrade that we're doing is for, instead of coming outside and using your phone to call Uber, you just come outside and whisper Uber and or Uber to show up. You understand what I'm saying? That's basically where we're going with this technology. And it need a system to operate on. And they figure out that this system that we have is not gonna maintain, because the internet that we're using right now, a whole bunch of things are operating on it, and everything is centralized. AT&T got a big old building over there with no windows. Like, you ever seen them building in New York, Massachusetts, wherever? They're big buildings, no windows. You see what I'm saying? Those are just switches.
Oh, wow.
You understand? And what happened is, like, what people don't realize, there's a lot that goes on into communication right now. The internet, like, they built the internet on an old legacy system, and they kick the can down the road and, like, you know what, we deal with it when we get there. And the advantage of developing world or developing society is that they don't have to build the network infrastructure, because these guys already throw a whole bunch of drones up in the air and call them satellite. So they're there for handheld device communication. Like, people think Africa is like backwards and all of that, but Africa have one of the best cell signals in urban settings, or even out. Basically, Africa has a better remote access to wireless device than here. You understand what I'm saying? It's just that Africa pretty big. So you can't go out in the Serengeti and think you're gonna get cell signal, but you can try. So what I'm saying is that they utilize that infrastructure. So they don't have to do like what's going on here and build their system on an existing legacy wires all over the place system. So America is hit with two disadvantage. They have to adapt. So they're either gonna have to get rid of all of these things and figure out what they're gonna do. And they doing some of it. They putting cables on the ground, trying to get rid of whatever. But the fact is, other places can adapt easier. And because they have the Bitcoin satellites up in the sky, and handheld device and application and coders and programmers that are working. The other thing with the question of, it's just a computer screen or whatever. It is a technology, just like Facebook, any one of them. It's just that it has a one, it is artificial intelligence, in the terms of nobody can control or manipulate or prevent anybody, or one sec you can't do anything to manipulate it, because it's written in the code. The next thing is that unless they shoot down all the satellites, Bitcoin is never gonna go back to $20,000 ever. And you don't even have to take my word for it. You just have to look at, just say they're playing it as a stock. Let's say the people who did this did a big old Ponzi scheme, and they're manipulating it. No stock has ever go below its former high and stay down there. It comes to go from $1 to $10. It's not going to go back to $1. It will come back to $10. You know what I'm saying? Then it will go up to $20,000. It's not going to go back to that $10. It will fluctuate. Once it breaks through a high, that's how they do the manipulation game. But with Bitcoin, they were manipulating it. But it, like I said, have the artificial intelligence and the fail-safe that after a while it say, okay, so these people are making all of this money and controlling this thing here, and the AI is going to switch it and cause somebody else to benefit from making it. So that's how that is going to be. Now, the people who created Ethereum also further cementing Bitcoin as a staple investment tool, because what happened is lots and lots and lots of money has been poured into a lot of Ethereum or projects built on the Ethereum platform. And because that happened, none of these people are gonna see their money go to waste. So they have to make sure that the technology lasts. And Bitcoin is, if Bitcoin goes, everything goes with it, because it's a blockchain. You know what I'm saying? Everything, if you rip down one block, it's gonna be the weak. You know they say about the weakest link. So, but the likelihood of Bitcoin going somewhere, it's not gonna go anywhere based on what I see in terms of my day-to-day doing the communication work and what's going on with the investment on the investment side of things. And wow.
Yeah, you're looking at the time.
Yeah.
We're not rushing off. I know you haven't. We're not rushing off, but
No. It's not that. I was like concerned about not having enough material, and now it's time just went on, and I didn't even I write down some stuff, like I said, but I think it is more on a question and answer segment. But
right.
I'm gonna stay on Bitcoin and crypto and all of the technology. And what we should do is figure out a way to pique people's interest into what they really would like to see. And if people who really want to be on the forefront of changing their reality in terms of getting on board with a new technology, I believe that we can do some show and tell, and being as you're interested in the Lightning Network, I believe that also is something that is very inexpensive, and if demonstrating that we can generate some kind of livelihood. How Lightning Network was mentioned to me. It was, now if you want to have a little meaty side project, you can look into the Lightning Network.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, it's just a little hobby side gig thing, and because the person who was talking about this is heavily invested in the whole Bitcoin. And they were just talking about there are like podcasts, or not shows on what's going on, the new technology, and then you have GitHub where you can go and see all of the technology and all of the things that are being built on the network, on the technology. And there is so much that can be done with Bitcoin that if people would just get a little bit more informed, they would realize that it's not just money. It's just to get people, because people are motivated to do something. You can tell somebody can tell you, I want to be whatever. I donate my volunteer. I live my life volunteering.
Yeah.
But after a while, that's going to get played. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you want to be working on the greater good and don't have to be relying on donations, because that's one of the creation also behind the technology, is to figure out a way how we can create this technology without having to ask for donation and open our hands to people getting in and kind of take over our ship and run it amok, making a few millions for few people and everybody else gets screwed. So that's why I encourage people to go to bitcoin.org and read the Bitcoin white paper, read the Ethereum white paper, and see what the technology is about and what can be built on it. And then, want to invest in it and all of that kind of stuff, man. The investment in terms of investing like a stock market, there are tons of strategies in investing in cryptocurrencies. There is a new thing called DeFi, which is Decentralized Finance, where they have crazy strategies where you can operate it like you're doing the futures market, but it's futures in cryptocurrencies, and you borrow and you lend and you get paid for both, but the computer, you see the, like, both sides of the trade, and it makes no damn sense, but it works. And the good thing about it is that on trades like that, you see it's kind of like options trading, where you see your profit exactly when you make the trade, but it's time sensitive. So you're gonna make $100 on this trade, but you're not gonna get your money until a month from now, if you keep your money in there. Or they have this thing called scaling, where you look at the project and you say, all right, so they're building, like in Denmark, they're building like solar roads or something like that to link with the houses, to link with the smart grid. And you look at that project and you go on their GitHub page and you're like, all right, so I like this project. I believe, like, one project I'm involved in is called ADA Cardano. Now, this is a currency that I bought back in I'm trying to hold on. I bought this back in March. See, these are little things that, I don't know if you can see that, but these are little things. I put $150 in this back in March, and I did nothing with it. This thing here is a 1,000. I bought 1,000 of this for 15 cents. and it is now $300 and something. So I spent $50 and since March, and just because I'm looking at little projects and program and I like what they're doing and I get involved in that, but I don't spend like a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? A $50 here, aside from back in the day with Bitcoin, because at the same time, this is something that I'm learning. And I believe that over 7 years of investigating and learning, I can confidently say this is the only ship that we stand a chance of doing anything if we don't surround whatever we're doing around the technology of cryptocurrencies, because I believe that if we let this opportunity pass us by, 5 years from now, we're going to end up being consumers again.
With that being said, one more question that since you know the show is all about solutions, and it is our solutions, and I get the fact that basically what you're saying is that we have to get involved as a people with the technology in one which way, shape, or the next.
Yeah.
And don't get caught up into the fact that it's just investment, because from what you're saying, which we all got to go do some research on, is that from what it sounds like you're saying is that there's plenty other avenues.
Yes.
Of actually securing a future.
Yes, you can actually build stuff of your own on it.
Okay.
You know, so you can build on the Lightning Network. It was designed to get rid of Western Union and MoneyGram and stuff like that. Anybody, anywhere can create a MoneyGram. And once you have people on your network, you don't even have to be friends with somebody. You can look into a country and see that there's an existing Bitcoin Lightning Network, and you just give your network permission to operate on that and contact them through whatever the software and make sure that the funds is there before any transaction. And how it works is, if you and I come to an agreement and I said that, all right, I'm going to send you $100, okay, on the network, I'm going to send you $100, but you don't know me and you need to figure out, or you're going to sell me something for $100. So what happened is you put up $50 and I put up $50, and neither of us can touch that $50.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until confirmed of receipt of trans.
I got you.
You who was supposed to get the $50 get the $50. Mm-hmm. If I who initiate that transaction did not, you understand what I'm saying? You still get your $50. Now, if you who was buying something get it and decide that you're not gonna, it's gonna, you understand what I'm saying? So it is a fail-safe that with transaction, there's no, it's going to verify that you can actually
pay for the thing before you
pay for what you say you're going to pay for. And it's going to guarantee that your loss is greater than the potential steal that you're going to do. So it's not in your interest to even do, you understand what I'm saying?
So it negates that $35 fee that the bank likes to charge. Let your account go into the negative.
No, there's not going to be any of that. There's not going to be, and the fees are charged, and the fees are like cents in the dollar to do a transaction. So that's the other thing. That's the other good thing about it. So what I believe then is that I'm going to get my notes more organized, but I believe that, we definitely can do some things. I would like feedback. And like I said, man, has a respect, much love. You understand? Make a sign off.
Thank you for everyone that joined with us for the very first solutions.
Yes.
Michael will be back every Wednesday.
I will be back
every Wednesday. Every Wednesday.
Yes. All right. Good night, everybody.